Training Camp Live. Nick Harris alongside Nick Eatman. We'll go ahead and dive right into the action of the Dallas Cowboys offense. Going against the Dallas Cowboys defense, the ones on the field to move the ball drill here in the mojo moment for these Cowboys. As you see Dak Prescott in the first-team offense, Trevon Diggs has been getting a lot of team reps today as well. Mike McCarthy said earlier in the week that they're going to slowly integrate him in a little bit more, and we have seen that with every day that has passed. You see Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, Dak Prescott under center. And Dak hands the ball off to Zeke, and you see Marshawn Nealand right in the middle there, second-round pick from Western Michigan.
It's a Hoffman day, I guess, to get some reps with the first team at center, going back and forth with Beebe, but didn't get a lot of movement there as Nealand did a nice job splicing in there.
You also see Tyler Guyton there at left tackle. He's going to be relied upon a little bit more now with the injuries to Chuma Edoga and Earl Bostic Jr. you saw yesterday.
He's got a challenge right here, I think. If I see 11 rushing there, that makes more sense.
Nice chip there on the outside, helped Guyton out. Dak Prescott was able to find Kevontae Turpin over to the left side for a minimal gain. Turpin has had a really strong camp as well. He's been consistent, and he's been a reliable target for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with him. It seems like every year they're adding more to his plate now. He's definitely not a running back, but he's got an ability to get the ball out of the backfield. He lines up all over the place.
Definitely a Swiss Army type knife. You see him in motion going back over to the right side. Jake Ferguson calling some things out at the line. It's a pitch to the right to Rico Dowdle. He's trying to find some room. Micah Parsons was able to crash over. Probably would have been a gain of about 5 yards for Rico.
Yeah, there's not too many plays where they just don't block Micah, and even in a play like that, he still has the explosiveness to get there, chase it down on the backside.
Yeah, that athleticism from 11, we've seen it on display here at camp. It feels like he has one gear, and it is go. It's kind of like a Tesla, right? It just goes. Here's the backfield of Ezekiel Elliott motioning in. We've seen this formation. Zeke has an offset blocker there in the middle. And he's going to go ahead and roll out. And there's Kevontae Turpin on the slant, being able to haul in that grab.
And that's the play right there. You can just see an 8-year veteran who gets a lot of reps, obviously, and Dak in his 9th year, I guess. That's the type of play you want Trey Lance to kind of get better at. Just those quick slants like that. That just something Dak has gotten really good at.
Quick to the line here. Dak Prescott drop back, finds Jake Ferguson over to the right side and is able to pick up some yards.
Nickels, dime, nickels, dime. That's kind of what this drive has been.
And we saw that throughout the year last year, Mike McCarthy's first year as a play caller.
But I feel like we're not going to see much right now. There's a good and bad thing of having size.
You see the tight ends right in front of us.
Tight ends are tall.
We're not that tall, Nick.
No.
Shout out to our cameraman, Alex Lilly, getting you in position here for this play. Here's Dak Prescott under center. It's a play action. Dak's trying to find some room down the left side. He's going for Tolbert. It's out of bounds. Trevon Diggs was there. Wouldn't have been a completion anyways. It had sailed towards past the pylon.
Al Harris telling Diggs that's a drop, even though the ball was about 4 yards out of bounds.
Still should come up with it, right?
I don't think you have to say that to Diggs. I bet he knows that. He wants to catch everything.
Here's Dak again in the shotgun. You see Micah Parsons and Tyler Guyton, a big battle there on the left side of the offensive line, and then Trevon Diggs breaks up the pass intended for Jalen Brooks. But a lot of fighting there between Guyton and Parsons. You saw that on the left side. Yeah. That's really fun to see.
Oh, no doubt about it. And Parsons, he knows how good Guyton is even as a rookie. Just the length and the footwork, the combination there. It's like Micah's holding his arm a little bit. I'm sure he's fine, but.
And Parsons going to go right back after Guyton here again. So it's going to be a handoff to the right side to Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott just trying to find some room. Couldn't really find it.
When I think of that play and I think of the read option there with Micah, I think of the Eagles. And plays like that Jalen Hurts likes to do, those are the plays that kind of confused him at some last year in the game in Philly. He's got to get better at reading those. He did a nice job on that play.
It's now Rico Dowdle in the backfield with Dak Prescott. Dak's going to move under center. And it's going to be a handoff to Rico Dowdle to that left side. He's trying to find some room. Eric Kendricks was in the middle of those bodies, as well as Micah Parsons.
Pretty good reps here for Buddy Johnson. He's taking advantage of Damone being out, Overshone being out.
Yeah, Damone Clark battling a sore left knee. And if you will look to your left side to our cameraman, Alex, you see Brandon Cooks heading to the injury tent. Not good news there for the Cowboys. He's heading over there with the training staff. He's heading over to the tent.
He's not really limping. It's one of those things. It is hot out here. You don't really want to speculate, but you would like for it to be something somewhat minor. But
yeah, it is a hotter day here in Oxnard, California than we've been used to, but certainly not what he's used to in Texas practicing back home.
Right.
So here's Dak Prescott back in the shotgun. Different set of receivers. You got Jalen Tolbert now on the outside. Still Turpin here in the slot. And using a little bit more of Tyron Billy Johnson as well. As Dackey's going to try to find it over to the left side. He was looking for Kavontae Turpin. Couldn't quite get there. Jordan Lewis was there in coverage. He's had a really strong camp as well.
It's like they called a defensive holding there. Maybe could have called offensive holding too. I think Parsons had a hard time. Thought he was getting held. But without Cooks, and I don't know if you remember this, Nick, but CD hasn't been here. It's been
absolutely.
Talked about a little bit.
That's a big note. And you hope there's nothing serious there with Cooks, and if there is, that might increase the urgency for CD Lamb. Is now working in the red zone, approaching the 10-yard line, and it looks like there was some movement there pre-snap.
I'm going to be optimistic about Cooks. I mean, he beat them all into the tent. You know what I mean? He was like the first one in there, so I don't think it. Then again, can't ever speculate.
Now the offensive line looking to readjust after that 5-yard penalty. Looks like there was movement on that right side.
Cropper, Brooks, and Flanoy here on this left side.
Rico Dowdle in the backfield with Dak. Dak looking to the right side. He pumps, and then he fires into Jake Ferguson. Ferguson gives a couple of hands, a couple of stiff arms to a couple of defenders.
I don't know if Kendrick appreciated that one. Not to be surprised, but Guyton is having his issues with Micah today. I mean, that's what you would expect.
Michael Parsons trying to give some energy here on the defensive side of the ball.
Getting the crowd all pumped up, all of them.
Here's Dak under center. Ezekiel Elliott now back in the backfield. It's a handoff here to Zeke, and you see Buddy Johnson getting in the middle of that action, as well as Chauncey Golston. Golston we've seen work a little bit more on the end on the last couple of practices. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. Mike Zimmer had mentioned it in his press conference earlier this week. He wants to see him work a little bit more on the outside. It's more natural for him. He's got the ability to certainly do it.
I'm sorry, I was watching Linda Wells. He says he was pretty intense here, tight ends coach, getting Jake Ferguson back in the game. Practice.
And this is a jet sweep to Jalen Cropper, the product out of Fresno State. You see the speed on display there off the edge. That's going to wrap up the mojo moment. Now working into team drills. Here's the second team offense. Cooper Rush leading the way. Still see a mixed bag here on defense of first and second teamers. Micah Parsons on the field, Deron Bland. That was a handoff there to Malik Davis. He had 8 carries for 18 yards in that first preseason game, but would have to expect there's going to be a little bit more opportunity for him this weekend.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy said in his press conference today that he's having the best camp that he can remember out of Malik, and maybe it didn't show it in the stats so much in the game.
As Cooper Rush finds John Stevens Jr. over here to the right side on the rollout.
What a target he is. I mean, just looks like a defensive end. But, I mean, he just got something. Once he really figures it out and just shows, you know, how good he can be. His hands are good. He's just got this long stride.
Yeah, don't say that too loud. They might need another body even after the additions on the last couple of days at the defensive end position. As Trey Lance bobbles the snap, he's able to recover and find Princeton Fant over the middle of the field for a minimal gain. Looks like that was a poor exchange there between BB and Lance.
I'm on Brandon Cook's watch here. He's come out of the tent. We're trying to see where if he's coming back into practice.
And here's Trey Lance. He looks left, but then he dumps it down right. Screen play to Royce Freeman. Freeman expecting for him to get some more opportunities in the game against Las Vegas on Saturday night. He was out with a groin injury against the Rams, but we'll have to assume there's more opportunity for him on the plate this weekend.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he could fit into all this. They really like his experience on special teams. That always helps players. You don't see that a lot with veteran backs like that, but he's had to do it in his career.
Now Trey Lance calling some things out at the line after the hard count. Here's Lance dropping back, but he's going to pitch it to Deuce Vaughn. You see Deuce Vaughn over to the right side. He's tough to see through the line of bodies,
but
he's able to find some room and get away for a big gain.
He had a good practice yesterday in his return, so he's gonna get some snaps, like you said, Royce Freeman. I would imagine, preseason snaps. That's what he did last year to help get on the team. He'll get out there.
All right, we got 4th and 4. 4th down.
4th down play. You hear the call from special teams coordinator John Fossil. We'll see what Trey Lance can cook up here. And Tyler Guyton still getting some good reps here at left tackle next to Awesome Richards at left guard. So here's Trey Lance. He's looking to the left. He's going to bail out, try to find some room downfield, and there's Princeton Fant. He barely got his toes in for a first down. Really good grab there from Fant.
Yeah, nice job getting his feet in there. Good throw on the run by Lance, too. I was watching Guyton. I thought he did a good job of kind of anchoring down a little bit. He was getting bull rushed, but didn't give up the play. So it was a good job all the way around. Tackle, quarterback, and then, of course, the tight end, Fant. Or fullback, whatever we're calling him. H-back, you think? I mean, he's very similar to Lipke in the way that they're utilizing them. He's more of a tight end down to fullback, and Lipke's the other way.
In the tight end room, they have the nickname Bull for Princeton fans. So maybe a bullback. Maybe that's his position. Here's Rico Dowdle over to the left side trying to find some room, and he was able to squeak away there around the edge. He's looked good at times here at camp. It's giving you confidence in this running back room, no?
I really like his vision. I think the patience there of a back, sometimes it's easy to just get the ball and go. That's what they're used to doing at high school, college. But just having the patience of finding the hole, sometimes less is more, and I think that was a good example of that. He waited, and you got to be quick enough to get the cut, though.
Here's Cooper Rush now at quarterback. It's a play action to Zeke Elliott. He's going to take a shot for Gavante Turpin, but he overthrows him. Josh DeBerry, the undrafted free agent out of Texas A&M, as well as Marquise Bell in coverage.
Marquise Bell is a little bit everywhere. He really does look like a safety again. I think he always kind of had that safety look, but he's playing with a lot of range. We saw it in the game. He was all over the field. I think this is, without a doubt, his best position, and it's showing right now.
And through the line of bodies, I see Brandon Cooks on the sideline with his helmet on his head. So you would have to hope that is a good indicator that whatever they checked on the injury tent is not too serious.
Back to the field is always good.
Always
to the
good.
Locker room, not so good. Then again, this is the time of year where any injury, any setback, anything is going to be, held with some caution. I'd be surprised if we saw a lot of him the rest of this practice. But
you can make the case for even the rest of camp.
Okay.
A couple of practices next week, still in Oxnard. And then we'll have 2 practices back home in Frisco, Texas on August 27th and August 28th. It's play action. Trey Lance looking for a couple of guys. He's going to roll out, try to use his legs a little bit. No one open downfield, but he's got all day. He's going to try to find Tyron Billy Johnson on some off-script work, and Billy Johnson was able to squeak away from Wanye Thomas and Eric Scott.
See a little bit more comfort level out of Trey Lance there. I know it's practice. He's not getting hit, and it's a lot easier to have that comfort, but when you're 6'4", 6'5", he's got some really good length to him. You can see down the field like that. Play breaks down, it just turns into schoolyard football. Good job by Billy Johnson. Well, he needs a good game, doesn't he, coming up this week?
Absolutely. He only had 2 series of work in the game against the Rams. Was not targeted. Had a couple of return opportunities, but wasn't able to find a whole lot. You would have to expect there to be more offensive production. And there's Gavante Turpin. Couldn't quite haul that one in. Josh Butler was there in coverage. And apologies to the viewers who I thought was Brandon Cooks through all the line of bodies. It was actually Deontay Burnett. They're kind of the same height. It's kind of tough to tell. The jersey was scrunched. So still not seeing Brandon Cooks here on the sideline. Apologies to the viewers.
He did come out of the tent, though. We did see that. He did come out of there. We just haven't seen him back on the sideline.
So here's Trey Lance again here in the backfield. It's a play action to Hunter Lipke, and he's going to go for Jalen Tolbert, who couldn't quite get his feet down in bounds. Lance led him a little far. Also, Tolbert not quite knowing where he was on the sideline there.
Back up. First to show defense. Offense up, first to show D. Here we go, baby.
First team offense getting a look here.
It looks like it's still going to be Cooper
it's
Rush.
The second team.
Yeah, Cooper Beebe at center. He's back with the second team today, but then you see this defensive unit, most of the first team on the field. We're also seeing C.J. Goodwin get some defensive reps today. We saw it a little bit earlier in today's practice. Mainly used as a special teamer during his time here in Dallas, but getting some defense work as well. This is a handoff here to Royce Freeman.
And when he has played, he's played corner. That's what he's kind of listed, but I think where we've seen him on that play lined up is some safety. I'd like to just get him some reps as much as they can. It's going to be that special teams ace this year. Deuce Vaughn in the backfield here.
Deuce in the backfield behind Trey Lance. And Lance is going to hand it to him. Vaughn trying to find some room. He was able to squeak through. I think Damian Wilson may have gotten an arm around him, may have been a tackle in a live game situation, but still some good production there from Vaughn. Yeah, tough to tell out here, right? Tough to tell out here.
I thought that's what Deuce really did a nice job last year, and it was in breaking some tackles, but it was in second half of those games. You don't see a lot of starters, obviously, in the second half of preseason games.
And now it's Snoop Connor in the backfield with Trey Lance to Lance's left. He's going to hand off to Connor. Connor trying to find some room. Really good job there from Tyler Guyton to be able to create a hole. And Snoop Connor has had his moments during camp as well, but I think it's just a reps thing when it comes to 32.
This kind of goes to show a little bit of the lack of depth that they're having at tackle right now. Tyler Guyton getting some reps with the first team and the second team. It's what the receivers are going through right now, too.
Oh, yeah, that counts, yeah. Look at that.
Here's Trey Lance under center. It's a handoff to Malik Davis. A lot of run action. You see Albert Huggins there on the stop. He was able to get in and make the stop on Davis. So just about every running back on the roster getting an opportunity here. 3rd and 7 opportunity. Would have to think Lance maybe puts the error through the ball. I'm running a slant here to Ryan Flanoy. How about that?
I'm looking at Stevens. 7 yards. He can make that in 2 strides.
Here's Lance. He's looking for Flanoy, but he overthrew him. DeRon Bland and Donovan Wilson got tied up here. And bodies were going down. Donovan Wilson coming up a little ginger.
We'll go tell them to get you on the field.
It looks like he's all right. It looks like he's going to walk it off. If you remember back to last year at camp, the very first day of training camp last year, he hurt his calf and missed most of the time here in Oxnard. He's able to jog off the field, maybe just a little bit of a stinger. So we're back with the offensive action now. Trey Lance finds Cam Johnson to the right side. It was a low grab, but Cam Johnson was able to grab it off his shoelaces.
First to show offense. Here we go.
Cam Johnson had a chance to make a big play down the sideline, and Lance overthrew him in that game against the Rams. It's plays like that, the receivers that aren't getting a lot of talk about, but all it takes is one big play, one big catch, and the narrative can change. And so I'm sure they're all looking for that kind of play against the Raiders on Saturday.
We saw it with Hunter Lipke in the final preseason game last year. He had a big game, and Stephen Jones came out and said that was a big reason why he made the roster.
Yep.
There was
I love
Ezekiel
when people
Elliott.
think that game is meaningless.
Definitely not for these guys.
Ask some others, yeah.
Definitely not for some of these guys, especially trying to crack not only the 53, those 16 practice squad spots as well. Very valuable parts of these young guys' careers.
Could be 17 if they keep Daxon, right?
Yes, Denzel Daxon, International Pathway Program player as a native of the Bahamas. Here's Trey Lance on a dump down to Rico Dowdle, able to find some room to the right side. Dowdle being used more and more in some receiving opportunities. It could be interesting for his production this season.
Yeah, he had a touchdown against the Cardinals, a screen pass. He had another catch against Washington for about maybe 30 yards or so. So he's had some moments last year out of the backfield. I think you're right, though. You might see a little bit more of that this year, especially if he can toe the sideline like that.
You see Alec Holer in the backfield with Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott takes the handoff. Just trying to find any sort of room there in the middle of that offensive line. So now we'll bring up a different unit. See Josh Ball coming in here at left tackle. He's had to step in and play a little bit more at the position.
Yep.
And the absence of Chuma Udoga and Earl Bostic Jr. You got Tyler Smith at left guard, Dakota Shepley at center. And here's Trey Lance, handoff to Rico Dowdle. He's going to follow Cole Cabral there at right guard. That's a new addition there for the Dallas Cowboys, number 61. Signed yesterday after a workout and now getting some good team reps.
That's why it's really difficult when you're watching this to try to figure out who's working with the ones and the second team and all that, because they mix and match a lot. You see Trey Lance, you see Tyler Smith, you see Zeke back there working with Cooper Rush. It's just when you get in a game, you never know who you're going to play with. So it is important to kind of get these reps, and you can't just have the depth chart sitting out every time thinking, okay, this is how they're lining up.
And it's play action to Hunter Lipke. Trey Lance trying to find room over to the right side. Strong grab there from Tyron Billy Johnson with Josh Taberry draped over him. Good grab there from 13.
See, that's the kind of play, Nick, that's going to help him make the team or practice squad or whatever he's got, because he can run, he can get past people, but can he make a possession catch like that with someone on his back? That was a really nice play by Billy Johnson. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's, like you said, strong hands and hauled in the catch.
The native of New Orleans, Warren Easton High School. Tyron Billy Johnson, the speed threat here. We saw him last preseason post a 100-yard game. See what he can do this time around. This is a handoff to Ezekiel Elliott to the right side. Jason Johnson got in there pretty quick, but Elliott's still fighting through.
Nice little burst.
As that'll wrap up the team section here of the Dallas Cowboys practice here at training camp. We enjoy you joining us here on Training Camp Live. Another day here in Oxnard. We'll be back next week. Final week in Oxnard of Training Camp Live. For Nick Eatman, I'm Nick Harris.